Um, me, I guess we'll just get started and then people like jump in later. It's fine.
That sounds good. All right. So do you want to start with the tree list? Or you go down the order there. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean the drill is I think Cam asked like if we could do some sort of a delineation with like the non-natives, I believe. Is that right, Cam? At the last meeting.
Yes.
Um, we haven't changed the list yet. I think we're gonna hear like I guess sort of a final like call on the trees list before we go ahead and make the changes. But that's like one of the sort of advice we got from last call that we're sort of keeping in record. And we were hoping to get a bit more feedback. Um, I think specifically from Dr. Stafford as well, as he wanted us to put the list on this meeting's agenda to review.
Okay. I think we had a slight discussion. I'm trying to remember with who, but it was regarding the um, the tree request application. People can send in a request to have a tree put in the utility strip in front of their house.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, were you talking about possibly expanding that to include trees on private property?
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I don't think it's a bad idea.
Right. Well, I thought it'd be interesting to bring it up in the group to see what people thought.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of it. I think when we were speaking about it in the last meeting, everyone generally thought it was a good idea because it's a nice way to get some larger trees put in since they won't necessarily be directly under utility lines. I think the big concern was just making sure that the city wouldn't be liable after planting, like just because the city was providing and planting the tree after it was the responsibility of the landowner, and things like that. And I think either Nick or Shaylin had mentioned being able to pretty easily modify a current standing thing to include that, but don't quote me on that part.
Right. And we could also have just a brief agreement, like a waiver. But okay. I guess my question was to you, Nick. Do we have enough funding to be able to do that? Enough trees available?
Yeah. I believe with our two grants, we'll have what's like $53,000 or something for planting. So
Okay.
we have no issues with money right now for trees.
Okay. Okay. So would we restrict it to one tree for privately owned properties, or just to help budget, or two?
Yeah, well, I think the way it works, they request, whatever they want. I wouldn't do more than two, but it all depends on, the site. I mean, if it's,
Okay.
if something we can plant, we'd plant.
Okay.
I think it's, with us getting out of that utility strip, gives you a little bit more room to grow,
Right.
it's limited there. And we always run into sidewalk work and curb work, and they end up cutting the root system. So if we can go on that a little bit, it may help, it'll help our tree canopy, and it'll also save the aggravation too.
Mhm.
They come to me a lot. They just want us to remove the tree because they have to replace the curb.
Right.
Well,
I think we can do it based on like the size of the parcel, but also how like a maximum limit set. So like if somebody has 10 acres, like we're not gonna plant like 10 trees or 15 trees, right? Because
Right.
just because they want it. Like so how like a maximum limit, but also, go by the parcel if possible, just so the Parks Department has, adequate location and like a best location to, plant the trees.
That sounds good.
Would that
And
be limited to like front yard or?
my preference would be encouraging folks to do it near sidewalks. So like it also provides pedestrian shade. But I guess, Nick, I'm not opposed to having it be elsewhere. But I feel like if it's like the goal is to increase shade for the community, I don't know if the Parks Department should be planting trees in someone's backyard, for
No,
example.
accessibility would be limited too, and
Mhm.
And
What's the
also with
current?
like planting in the rear, like if they want like a tree on their property line, like that could be problematic in the future with like neighbors if they don't want like, trees sticking out or on their side or like whole other like bunch of problems. I don't know, but that's like how I look at it. But of course it's, I don't know. We'll have to find a way, like, we're only gonna plant it in the front, for example, or something like that. I don't know. So
So we could say with like 2 feet from the side yard, we could put some location requirements.
right.
Yeah, I
Or
think that would be good to list some explicit ones. Nick, because it's like for requesting a street tree in front of your house, it's by like every X amount of feet you can request a tree, right? Or am I making that up?
Um, I'd have to pull it up, but no, I don't think there's really,
yeah,
Oh, okay. I was under the assumption it was like for every like 9 feet of curb space or something like that, you could request a tree. Maybe I just made that up in my head. So if I did make that up, ignore me. But I thought that could maybe be a good way to kind of provide a framework for how many trees someone could request or something.
I'm gonna look it up right now because I don't remember there being anything like that, but
I don't think there really is. But
it's been a while though since I've looked.
I mean, a single person homeowner could request as many as they want, but if we don't have the room to put them there, we're not gonna, we don't want to shove them in there. So
Do you also do like a U-dig call before you plant?
yes, absolutely. We do for every site. So
That's it, right?
utility companies don't like us during planting season either, but
Yeah.
we have to do the one call. So it's kind of a process for us. We go through our request list,
Mhm.
and for whatever amount of trees that we're gonna plant, we have to go find sites for those and make sure they're adequate spots, and the people are gonna want them. A lot of times we run into the residents don't want them in front of their houses, almost more than they do nowadays, but
Yeah. Well, this would be like voluntary, right? The people are signing up for it.
Yeah, they
yeah.
Sally, can I share
Okay.
the screen?
oh
Am I-
yeah, should be
Okay.
able to. Are you able to, or
Yeah, I think so. Um, but it didn't pull it up.
Yeah, I have a neighbor. I'm in the first ward, and a neighbor saying like the trees are nice, but no one comes to trim them. So they're like getting overgrown and we're worried. So I do wonder if there's that sort of perception with the street tree where people are like, well, I don't want an unmanaged tree that I don't want to be liable for, but also isn't getting trimmed. So I do wonder how much like of that is contributing to that public perspective as well of not wanting shade trees.
Yeah, I mean, we get work orders through our tree keeper program, and we try to keep up with them, but I mean, there's really only our arborist and our urban forester. Um, there's basically two guys for the whole city, so
Wow.
it's a tough task for them to
A
get
lot
around,
of work. Yeah.
especially routine trimming, it's basically a lot of it that comes through our department are complaints.
Hmm.
We really are limited on our routine trimming. We try to go out in the winter time before, snowplow season. That's the biggest time we go out because we want to raise them up so that the trucks aren't hitting the low branches and whatnot. But
Right.
It's,
All right, I think I figured it out. So there's the application. People request it. And okay.
Oh, under forms, permits, and licenses, under what is it like the Parks Department website? I'm just wondering like what tab do you press to get that?
Yeah, I
So
believe
you're
it's the
not seeing
first.
the form?
I just see forms, permits, and licenses.
Oh, how
Like, drop
strange.
down.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
can try to share it. I'll go to the.
I don't know why. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, if you go to the website and go under like the government tab and go over to the parks like homepage, it's under forms, permits, and licenses, and I'll just share my screen of what I'm looking at. This is the request form.
Yeah. Now, how come I couldn't get it to do that?
Did you click on the form?
I did. Yeah, I could see it, but you guys couldn't.
Yeah, but then you have to share that form. Like
Oh.
like the sharing doesn't like scroll over to like what you're looking at. Like it will. So if I open the form, it will stay on the form, and then I can do something on my other,
Okay.
multitask on my screen. So, but yeah. So,
Sorry.
oh, there is something about.
50
Yeah,
feet.
I underestimated it, but that same framework with the 50 feet or less or 50 feet or more, I think that would be like helpful at least
Mhm.
For
Oh, there
kind
we
of
go.
applying it just to the private property trees, so to speak.
Yeah.
Also, there is like a maximum of two trees
Yeah.
requirement. So that's good. I think we could just keep it that way. But I don't know. It's up to parks and the commission to request.
Yeah, you can always just start small, especially
Right.
if there's a lot of work already on the queue for the arborists.
Right. So we could just modify that to say one street tree and one front lawn tree, and then maybe give a few directions about proximity to border of the property.
I think that's good. Is there going to be like a formal announcement that this is going to be a thing, or?
Well, I think at this point it's just a conversation, so it'd be something, we might have to go through legal and all that good stuff too.
Yeah, I don't need it to happen right away, but I feel like if it's just an amendment to the file,
Oh,
I
no.
don't know how many people would realize that it's an option.
Right. No, I could see the mayor doing a press release announcement saying, you're welcome to request a tree for the front of your house, on your front lawn, and the street side. Something will come out.
I don't think it would be like a amendment necessarily because this form already exists, so somebody can do it today if they want it. Like, so it wouldn't. I don't know if it's like a broadly advertised per se, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying, but like this is like for the street trees. For like, I could see some people being more willing to have something put on their own property, just because I don't know, it's like a free tree. I don't know. I think people hear the word free and jump on it.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think once we make that change, I think it'll be something they'll want to advertise.
Yeah.
Like my house, I don't have a utility strip. It's just sidewalk to road. So
Right.
Cool. Also, I had a random question. I don't know if the answer anyone in this room has, but I was like driving down Main Street. I think we mentioned this last time. Is there potential to like have trees planted in some of the open plots on Main Street and things like that? I know there's some construction going on right now, so maybe this would be better for next year, but like specifically, I was thinking in front of the new city church lot, there's a strip of grass and there's not a single tree in front of that entire plaza. And it's similar all down Main Street, and I believe Clinton Street as well. If we have this much funding for street trees, I would definitely like to see some go in along those main roads, especially because there's such high pedestrian traffic passageways, and those shade trees really provide like places to kind of rest from the sun during those warm summer months and things like that.
Nick, do you know if during the Main Street reconstruction part, our street trees going to be added?
I don't know the
I,
answer.
s- I spoke with Sarah Gloss about that because I think she was just talking about how that grant went through, and she said that they cut the tree planting budget for it because I guess it wasn't going through otherwise to get the funding. So it doesn't sound like they plan to have any trees or shrubs planted in the new sidewalk medians.
Okay, well, that's a problem for me, but that's unrelated to anyone in this meeting. But if we have the funds to be able to provide trees in those spaces, I'm strongly recommending that that's something that we at least try to explore. Because I think I don't know. I keep hearing the word eyesore a lot, not again from anyone in this meeting, but I think trees are an easy way to fix that. And also, like, just from a sustainability perspective, it's such an easy way to incorporate sustainable futures. And I don't know. I think those are awesome spots to put trees, and in the long run, it would make it look so much more beautiful as well.
Definitely. Yeah, the city church location for the person who's doing the Google thing right now.
It's further up Main Street, almost
Yes.
near Johnson City,
It's
like
near
where the
like the
Burger
arch.
King.
all the way. Okay.
Yeah, other way.
Where the arch used to be. Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're
Further
renovating
down that.
if they're renovating that
Yeah.
parking lot, then that's gonna
Almost
trigger
JC.
Oh,
the
okay.
landscaping requirement.
It's near Mavis. And like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So not that far. But
Crestmont.
Yeah, so go that way now,
Yeah.
yeah,
like
towards
towards
Binghamton.
downtown,
Not that way, no.
other way,
Yeah.
and then keep clicking. It's not that far down Main Street.
Okay.
It'll be to your
I
right.
mean, yeah, the arch. I mean, this is Binghamton.
A little further, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the other like trees.
Spots where there's trees, it's real nice. There you go. It's coming up.
Yeah, so it's the next slot up. Yeah, there's like, or
I guess just like a lot.
yeah,
That I
like
think that's it.
all
right
of
there.
these open spots, there's not a single street tree planted. And it's like that all down Main Street, aside from in front of a couple of the churches, and maybe some of the smaller businesses that chose to have them requested. And Clinton Street looks roughly the same too. If we have funding available and it's feasible, and again, if it has to wait until after the Main Street revitalization, that's fine. 1 second, my dog's speaking. Thank you. I would definitely like to explore if we could put some funds towards that. I think it would be a really easy way to get shade trees planted in places that really need it, and it's also a really recognizable location, or central location rather, for the city.
So Shalyn, the church development plan, if they're modifying that parking lot, won't that trigger the landscaping requirement?
Depends on what they're like modifying it.
Right.
Not necessarily like if it like never required landscaping, or how it was approved before, it would like depend on that. Like I don't know exactly what they are modifying or if they put in for approval. So until they do, like I wouldn't know what the landscaping requirements would be.
Well, I'm assuming something already went through because they already have like a new facade put up and things. I don't know exactly what the plans for that were.
Yeah, go back to the church lot, if you don't mind.
Behind where we are right now. It's to the right in
I'm
front of
going
us.
down.
So one more.
Oops.
No, the other way.
One more street, the other
It's
way?
like it's the empty plaza, and that's behind us right now. They're turning it into a church. Right now in this street view, it's empty. So go like down Main Street towards downtown.
Okay. Oh.
And one more. And then that plaza to the right, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
So I'd like to look at their plans because I'm sure they're going to be regrading and redesigning that parking lot. And that would trigger the landscape requirements. So that's something we can look at for that at least, and just look at it and see if it's part of their plan. I don't recall I mean, those
I
site
haven't,
plans are so
yeah, I
long.
haven't heard about this like
Mhm.
project. Like, I mean, at least while I'm like, while I was hired here.
Right.
So maybe it was before that. So,
It was
and since
approved
then,
a
like
while ago. Yeah.
since then I haven't like heard anything about it. So I can't really, speak on it and tell you definitely that it will require something.
But we can
Uh,
pull it up and look at it and
but
see.
yeah, we can review like what was submitted and
But what
obviously.
about all these like grass plots? I know we can't put big things there, but I assume those were historically used for shade trees, or else they wouldn't be grass, they'd just be concrete.
Yeah.
Is there, like, if we have funds to plant shade trees, is there a reason why we can't pursue putting some smaller ones there? Or if that might already be in plans, then that's great. But I see a lot of those empty grass patches down a lot of our main streets, and I always wonder why we don't have anything there. I assume it's because of the overhead utility lines, but I think we have at least a couple of small growing species that would go good there. Red buds come to mind, magnolias come to mind. They do need some good amount of pruning, though, so maybe not those. But flowering dogwoods, Japanese lilacs, those all stay relatively under 20 feet. And um, I don't know. I'm sure there's other ones too. It just seems like a shame that they're not
Okay.
being planted and used, both for aesthetic reasons and also the function of a shade tree. Otherwise,
Okay.
I think
Um,
that might be a question for parks. I mean, there were smaller trees as you can see here from like 2019 and then like they just disappeared. So I don't know exactly. Even in 23 actually they were kind of there and now you
yeah.
don't really see them. They're just gone.
Right.
So I personally don't know like what happened to those. But maybe Nick can chime in.
I don't really remember those coming down, but they
Yeah,
must
I don't
they
either.
must have died on us or something.
Okay.
But there's definitely potential to replant there. I mean,
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that would be great if we're looking for spaces. That seems like a obvious one to me.
I know a few years ago there was a nasty like frost cycle that like killed off a lot of young trees.
Yeah, I
So
think we had like a June frost or something. It also screwed up a lot of the like apple orchards in town. Sorry, my dog wanted to say hi to everyone.
yeah, so that just has to be accounted for when you have a tree plan. But yeah,
yeah, we could definitely take a look at those sites. I mean, this fall, you know,
Cool. I would
depending
even
on.
be happy to go out and like get the locations of them if that's easier for you guys on
oh,
the Parks End. Or Shauna could probably pull them up.
absolutely.
But if we have that much funding available, in addition to allowing the private citizens to request some, I think we should kind of take some initiative in getting some trees planted and more of the like non-private or like non-residential properties, if that makes sense.
Mhm. I think that'd
I
be great.
Definitely.
Yep.
I think I have the plan up for I believe it's the 285 Main Street will be this church and the parking lot. So I can share that screen and we can kind of go over. Like this was from 2020. So um I don't know if they would have to come back to planning or if they started making progress on the approval beforehand, because the planning commission, the way it works is if you get approval, you have to like you have a year time frame. So after a
Mhm.
year, if you don't make a progress on what you were approved for, it expires and you have to come back to the planning commission again for the same approval. But if you show any sort of progress, substantial progress, then it doesn't expire and then you can continue your work. So that I'm not 100% sure if they at the time made progress and it didn't expire. That was again before my time, so I'm not 100% sure. And I can find that out, but let me share what I'm looking at right now.
I know they did come back and explain what the delay was with that. There you go. Okay.
Looks like trees.
Okay, good. There's some trees coming in. That's awesome to hear too.
But we can ask them for an update on that also, and or ask
Yeah, I
them.
mean they'll have to follow what they were approved for as far as site plan goes. So if they were approved for all these trees and everything, all the landscaping, they'll have to plan that. Like there is no way to sort of get out of it per se, unless maybe some trees are getting in the way somehow. I mean, they designed it so it shouldn't get in the way, but hypothetically, if they will come back to the planning commission for a modification of the site plan, um, and try to get the approval that way. But this is what they were approved for, so hopefully, they come back on their promises and follow through with the plan.
Yeah, it seems like this actually looks like a really great plan in terms of tree plantings for me, especially shade trees with the sidewalk. I wish more of the plans we reviewed looked like this. So that's awesome to hear. But
is there a key that indicates what kind of? Can you scroll down a little? What they're planting? There we go. Over there.
This is I'm trying to. Let me. Usually there is like a table where maybe this will have it.
Yeah, this seems like the landscaping. Golden rain, elms.
You can put it on there? Okay.
Yeah, the arrows are pointing.
Yeah, they don't have like a key, but they like have a description.
Okay.
Frontier elms, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that looks good. My only comment is like they're all the same tree, but I'd rather see more of the same than none at all. I suppose. But yeah, that looks good. But still, to what I was saying before, with thinking about fall plantings, there's still a lot of space on a lot of our main streets that I think would be good for a shade tree, at least a small one. And Shauna, you said that you'd be able to pull that up or something?
Pull. What was that you wanted me to pull?
Oh, I didn't mean in this meeting. Shauna's really good at like GIS stuff and things like that,
okay.
and I think has an ability to be able to like flag or pin locations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's something that we want to see next time. Like I think it'd be nice to be able to use this meeting as a way to like review data too, and not just site plan review if people are interested in that. But I don't want to go through all that work if it's not of interest to the planning department or something. So, I could do that if there's interest to utilize that information in some way.
I think we can definitely do it. Also, like you can write about it, something like that in the base camp, like make a post and get like input from other members as well.
Okay, great.
And we can definitely use the commission for more than just, like you said, for more than just site plan reviews. Really anything landscape, anything trees, like all in the best interest of the city of Binghamton. So it doesn't just have to be projects that come through the planning commission.
Hey. Yeah, I think there's some interest from Binghamton University to like assist with shade tree stuff. I know Julia and I have a meeting soon to talk about that. So,
is that that's at 3, right?
That's at 3, yeah.
Okay. And I know on Clinton Street, part of a separate grant we applied for to go along with the DRI was for green infrastructure, and that included bioswales, green space, trees. So there's funding if we get that grant, which we should, fingers crossed. Yeah. Then we're going to be adding a lot of greenery there.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, sorry, I feel like I went on a tangent about that, but every time I drive down Main Street, I'm just like, why is there no trees here? And I want to see more.
It's not an enticing place to walk, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it's where all the bus stops are. It's where like basically everyone has to walk if they don't have a vehicle or a bike. So it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to see some emphasis placed there. And I'm glad that we're pursuing that.
We should be
But
able
sorry,
to help
I
you
derailed
out
us
as
a little
well.
bit for that.
I guess we can sort of table I mean, unless you guys really want to talk about the grants, I don't know what further we needed to talk about those,
Was
unless
there
you
any
need to
updates there, Nick,
summarize.
from last time, or just that we have funding available from those two grants?
Yeah, we have the funding available and actually we're getting started on that. Tree locations and we have to go out to bid for the trees.
Okay.
So, we could definitely look up and down Main Street, Clinton Street, see if there's any, potential spots there to put on our locations list. So,
Yeah, and I can send you an email with some like good smaller tree species so you can keep those in mind during the bidding process. Um, the red buds, I'm a big fan of red buds for a small shade tree. They're just so pretty and they don't get that big.
Pretty.
And Japanese lilacs, while not native, especially in this urban of a context, they're not going to really pose that much of an invasive threat. And again, they're stunning and they smell great when they're in bloom.
And they're pretty resilient too. I know Johnson City has a lot of them, and they seem to
Yes,
do
there's
well.
a couple on my street. They're all doing good.
right.
And then like
We have a lot of
flowering
them.
dogwoods too. Again, stay pretty small. But I'll send you an email with that stuff if that would be helpful. And then Shauna, if you're able to pull some of that data, I definitely would be interested in seeing it. And it seems like
Yeah.
it would also be really helpful for informing some of these planting decisions for the Parks Department.
Right.
And is the ask for the GIS just the location of like where were there trees and now there's not? Or is it more of like a shade analysis of like where is there not shade?
I'm
Is it
thinking those like the plots in the sidewalk
yes.
that have
Okay.
like grass or like just dirt, like not concrete, that look like trees historically were there and
Yes. Yeah.
currently are not. That's in my mind what I'm most curious about.
Right.
But if anyone else has any, what was the, I don't even know if I'm familiar, the shade analysis. I'm assuming that's like the current shade cover provided by trees.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's lots of like raster information available through satellite imagery that you can use to determine what kind of canopy is available during the year.
Would
Um,
it be too much to ask for both?
I mean, the location is definitely an easy like 1 day project. The other thing would be a passion project, which I have.
Okay, no, then don't. Locations are fine. Don't, Shauna,
Yeah.
you're good. Thank you.
Well,
Locations are
there's
fine.
also a lot of capacity, I think, in the GIS, the geography department at Binghamton University, which is where I learned to do that. So
Okay.
it
Oh
could
yeah,
be,
that could even be a cool student project or something.
it
Yeah, it
totally
could be
would.
like an intern project kind of thing. Through the planning
Absolutely.
department, we could set something up.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So for our purposes, if locations are feasible for you to do, that would be
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic and much appreciated.
Yeah. That's much more of just like a visual. Okay. I see that used to be there. The other one is more of like
Mhm.
you do a lot of different stuff with GIS, which is fine, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a
It's
great
possible.
idea for a long-term internship
Yeah.
partnership thing. I guess maybe, I don't know what your BU meeting's about, but if it's relevant there, feel free.
It's very relevant. It's directly relevant to that. So
Yeah,
yes.
that'd be awesome. So that takes care of that. Have you guys had a chance to take a look at the tree management plan by any chance? It's a long doc. I know it's like 60 plus pages.
I reviewed it briefly. I'm not gonna lie, I've been in and out of the field for work most of this month. So I haven't had a chance to really give it an in-depth look. But from what I could tell, it looked like relatively good. I definitely want to have some time to read it more in depth because it is approaching 10 years old at this point. I think it's
Yep.
7 years old now. But I personally won't really have time to do that until field season's over, in the cooler months.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
reviewed
mean,
it a couple of years ago and I thought it was like a really robust plan. And I thought its comments about not planting more maple trees, because we have such a high ratio of them is really important when you're thinking about risks of like major tree loss in like one season because of pests or climate risk or something. It's really important to have a variety of species.
Yeah, I
And I,
remember reviewing it when I was doing the Sandy Beach Park project, Nick, actually, and it was really great there. Kind of what Shauna was getting at. I want to make sure that the climate risk is up to date because we have more information on that now compared to when we did in 2018. And I don't know if it was Shauna, was it you or Ava that shared that really cool list for, I think it might have been Ava for like
Ava.
I think it was the DEC or the USGS posted. Maybe it was the Forestry Service. I don't know. I'll find it. I have it saved somewhere. But it's a list of like climate resilient trees by like planting zone, um, which is pretty cool. So we could incorporate that maybe. But
Yeah, we definitely need to see that.
Well, I have another meeting in 9 minutes, so I need to hop off. But I'm glad that
Okay,
we
I
all got to
guess
speak.
I
thank you,
just wanted
Shauna, for
to.
offering the GIS stuff. That's
Yeah, we
fantastic.
Yes,
really
yeah, I'll try to
appreciate it.
I'll have that for their next month's meeting.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess before I end the meeting, I just want to say I did start a conversation with the Corp Council for the minimum landscape requirements that got brought
Okay.
up at the last meeting. So once they like reply back, we're gonna have like a meeting set up. And I also told them that, Cam, you would like to, potentially join the conversation to, help out any way you can regarding that. So once I get like a yes, I can relay the information to you and maybe some of the other members if they would like to join the dialogue
Yeah, that
and
would be great. Honestly, if you want to post it in our, I always forget what our thing is called. Basecamp?
base
Is that
camp.
what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to just post the information there, I definitely am interested in joining. I'm sure a couple of our other members would be too if they're available. So if that's something that you're allowed to do, I think posting it there would be great.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, and then we can take it from there. Hopefully, we can make a change happen and it goes in the commission's favor and um, we'll be able to make that amendment. But really, it's
Yeah,
up to.
I just want to get a conversation going. Like, obviously, things happen. Everyone has the right to be able to appeal things, but it just seems like it happens so often and so consistently that there's a precedent set that if you want to ignore the landscaping requirements, you can, and it'll just get approved. And I think it's really important that
it wasn't historically like that, but it has gradually progressed.
Yeah. I know it hasn't always been like that. Sorry, thank you for correcting me on that, Julia. Because I see a bunch of the historic properties. They have beautiful tree plantings on them, and it's just sad to me that we're like at present we're just, for me as a community member and an ecologist, it just seems like we're tearing down things and just putting up parking lots and not putting any sort of landscaping or shade cover. And at this point, knowing what we know about sustainability and the climate crisis and how to build sustainable communities, it feels embarrassing because a lot of other municipalities around us care very passionately about their trees. And I would like to see the city take a more firm stance on that. Like, for example, my job, I've sat in city board meetings or municipal meetings where they've spent over an hour like critiquing the tree plantings of a proposed like development. Whereas it kind of seems like our developers are like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they're like, okay, that's fine. And I don't know. It's just something I have personal stake in. I guess that's why I'm arguing for it so adamantly. And I really appreciate your willingness to work with us there on it. It's very appreciated, and we're very grateful for it.
I'm glad to have the Tree Commission back because we definitely need this type of support because originally the landscaping requirements were pretty strongly adhered to, with, maybe a few waivers, but then I don't know, the last few years it really seems to be just a negotiating point, I guess, with developers, at the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they're an independent body, and if they agree with the developer, they'll, waive it or change the requirement. Like one of the parks at Metro Center plot down here, they took out all the trees without telling us, replaced it with just like grass. They said it was some sort of an insurance situation, but they told us after the fact,
Yeah, and I think like it is like if a developer was like asked to reduce the requirements, it would still be better than like just completely waiving it, like having no trees.
Mhm.
I think reduction is still like better than, again, having just bare like concrete parking lots and concrete like buildings
Yeah,
with
that's why the minimum I
nothing.
think is a great
Yeah,
compromise from both
absolutely.
perspectives.
Mhm.
Because it
It's
still allows
more
some wiggle room on
protective.
their ends, but
Right.
there's at least something going in, you know?
Yeah.
All right. I also have to get going for another client
Yeah.
call, but sorry I was late. I had it on my calendar. I was just on a longer
No
meeting
problem,
before
no
this that
problem.
ran over. Just to clarify, our next meeting is in 2 weeks or the first weekend of October?
It would be on the 20th, which is
This
the third Monday of the October.
Oh, it's just the third Mondays. Okay, I
Yeah,
had that
yeah.
part wrong in my calendar. All right.
Yep.
So I'll try my best to remember to send out a reminder to everyone in the commission too, just so like the Thursday or Friday before. Um,
Hmm.
so hopefully we can have more members next week. But thank you guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Excited to keep working with you.
You as well. Thank you very much
All
for
right. Thank you
showing up
guys.
today.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Keith.
Bye.
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 All right.
Well, did you guys have any other things?
Nope. I think this is
Okay.
going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. I'm gonna end the call now.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Juliet.